and he fills it only halfway. And before I even argue, he is looking out the window at somebody coming in.
All right, folks, welcome once again to the Short Vol Show. We are broadcasting live from the place where the Pilgrims landed, that being Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and I welcome you here today. I have been warned off of talking about contango because every time I get, I feel it. Some people feel like I'm starting to jinx contango because every time I start getting excited about it, we get the inevitable tweet, and it doesn't happen again. So, just interested I had some pretty big feedback from a recent interview with Aaron Scott. I did have somebody come on, and there's a situation I feel a little bit guilty about. There was a guy who came on, and he left a bunch of comments, and he got upset. And I think the reason he got upset is because I had my comment set on YouTube to be where it kind of picks like the top comments, and I think it rates them by like if somebody else upvoted them or something, so that it puts the top ones at the top of the page. And this gentleman felt like I was kind of maybe erasing some of his comments or picking and choosing which ones I was using or something like that. I don't know. All I know is I went online and I saw that he was upset and had was angry at me and had said I'm unsubscribing from your channel because you don't like my comments or something like that. And of course, I hadn't seen any of his comments. I hadn't done anything, and you can't make everybody happy in the comment section. And I guess it's a sign of at least activity on my channel that there actually is anyone commenting at all. But I went in and I replied to him. I said, look, I'm sorry. I will switch the setting. There's a setting so you can just have it so it just puts the most recent, newest comments on top. So I switched it to that, but he wasn't watching at that point because I think he had already unsubscribed me and or blocked me. I was unable to tell if he'd unsubscribed me and or blocked me, but so I read this apology and I switched the comments thing, but then I started reading through all his comments, and most of them were kind of like nasty and just tearing apart the guest or the views of the guest. And I started to think, wait, why am I bowing to this troll? And so I erased his comments and blocked him. I've got to sort of rise above this. I've got to get used to the fact that if I am going to be making videos, I can't make everybody happy, and there are going to be commenters, and I don't have time to respond to everyone, although I really appreciate everybody leaving comments, and I am small enough now that I do read every comment, and I do take them to heart. So thank you for those who do leave them. Aaron Scott is a person who's not really from the trading world, of course, and she represents to me a lot of people's views, which are that very common views in the YouTube community and in the United States in general, that the U.S. is in decline, that a lot of people believe that there's going to be some sort of like financial reset, or everything is going to quote unquote hit the fan at some point. And so I did want to give a voice to those ideas. In a sense, the prepper community, the more extreme fringes of that, you can expect you're going to have a lively comment section. So that's that. This place behind me in the picture, I think it is actually an acquaintance of mine's house in South Beach. I don't know if I mentioned that before. That's Hibiscus Island in South Beach. And I think that's actually my friend's place. I'm not sure if he still has it. I'm pretty sure he does. Anyway, but I remember arriving there and to go for the Cubs playoff with my friend Jason a few years ago, and the Suzanne Vega song was playing in the background. So that was just a little personal flashback for me. Let's get to the markets. I was looking at the chart of the VIX earlier, so let's go to that really quick. Okay. So here is a chart of the VIX for, I believe this is a 20-day chart. And, really kind of we're in the middle of a range. There's nothing really dramatic to speak of today, like a turning point or anything like that. If we go out a little bit further, here's the 180 days, and yeah, that's the scene. It could go either way from here. There's no real trend right now at all. In fact, it looks very very flat. Futures, we did have futures sell off overnight, and they've come back as we got into the day today. If we look at the futures in the last 24 hours, you can see. That's not 24 hours. I don't know why it does that. You can see, so 24 hours. So this is 5 days. You can see the sell-off overnight and then rally here to, we were unchanged. Now we're down 6. But overall, kind of you could say that if you look at it over a couple days, you could see it's upward trending. If you backed it out a little bit more, you might say it's downward trending to sideways. So mixed. And opinions are mixed. One big point that a lot of people are making is that the realized volatility, that is how much the indices are moving around. We keep hearing these 1% up or down moves. How much this stuff is moving around is justifying the VIX being at the area it is. So we are moving around more or equal to the VIX being at 20, the 20 range here. So accurately pricing is the VIX right now. Now, if you look at this chart I have up, it looks like we're slowly kind of moving around a little bit less, and you would expect that because 1% moves every day are not historically very very common, and so as things progress, we would expect it to sort of calm down a little bit, get a little bit more quiet, and we kind of see that. Today we're we're down a small amount, 0.25%, so a very small amount right now. The Dow is down a little bit more, 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.59, 0.6%. Dow down, gold up 16 today. So the VIX right now is basically unchanged, and the term structure is incredibly flat. So let's pull that up for a second. We'll look at the term structure. I appreciate all the new subscribers that have come and joined. Thank you for checking out the channel, and we're happy to have you on board. We like to talk about basically the markets and the VIX here. So here's the VIX term structure. Okay, so for anybody who's new to this, as you look at that chart, let me just pull up so I can see where I am on the chart. All right, so I'm not blocking it too badly here. If you look to my left here at the beginning of the chart, where I had the pointer there, that's the front month VIX future. So right now we have a week to go for expiration. So that means that basically 3/4 of the futures that compose of most of these VIX ETFs or ETPs are May futures right now. So the mix is basically like 3/4 May futures, 1/4 April future. So and as we move towards the expiration next week, they will become all May futures, and then we'll start moving into June. So we start to look not only at the relationship between April and May, which, as you can see from this chart, is showing a 2.8% backwardation. We start looking between the relationship at the relationship between May and June, and that one also in backwardation right now. If I wanted to know, like, let's say, like, I wasn't sure of what, where we were in the month or something like that, I could go over here to this ProShares website, and I could go to daily holdings here, I went to ProShares uvxy. What I did was I typed uvxy into my browser and I went down to the ProShares website. If I go to daily holdings in uvxy here, it looks pretty confusing because they're using some swaps. If you looked at this 6 months ago, you would have just seen the two futures. So we've got the SIBO VIX future expiring 5/16. That is the May future, and then we've got the April future here. And if you just look at those and forget about the swaps for a second, you can see that there are a lot more of the May futures than the April, and it actually does line up pretty well to 3/4 of one and 1/4 of the other. It actually lines up pretty much perfectly. If the total were 16 futures, you've got 12 of May and 4 of April. These swaps, though, also figure into the equation, and the same ratio is being held, and we don't have a whole lot of information on these swaps other than that they replicate the futures in one way or the other. They could either be that each one represents a specific future exactly, or it can be that you actually make a swap that is going to perform exactly like the futures would, where it's going to change over time to keep that 30-day horizon for the uvxy. Because uvxy, it's maintaining a 30 days out horizon. So if you have just one future that expires in 30 days, then that's great. That's what happens right on expiration. The next month expires in 30 days. You only need one future. But as the next day goes by, then that future is 29 days out. So you need to add another future for the next month, which is 30 days out. So so these swaps are ways for them to save either money or to save margin requirements. And we've seen them pop up recently. ProShares has been using these swaps. They said in their prospectus they might use them. They have been using them for the last few months, and they have used them in the past before. But right now, if you look at the two futures, they are in the right ratio to each other with 1 week to go. So I like to look at this daily holdings to remind me of what the weighting is. And once again, the weighting is mostly May futures now and some April futures. So if we were to look at our chart of the futures here, and we see, for example, April future up 2 cents, May up 14 cents. Okay, we're mostly the 14-cent future, and so that's why uvxy is up 40 cents because it's up 40 cents because of tracking error a little bit. It's up more than you would think it would be, and that's due to it's just due to where uvxy is marked. At the end of the day, most stocks get marked at 4 o'clock. VIX futures don't get marked till after 4:15. It can be sometimes not exactly 4:15, but sometimes after 4:15, and so different quote services will mark uvxy at 4 or at 4:15 or sometime in between, and there's a tracking error at times, so it will be off by like 10 cents here or there or 20 cents, and it can even be off if there's a big move between 4 and 4:15. It can be off by more. It could be off by up to $1. But if you're looking at that now and saying, wow, uvxy up 40 cents and the main future only up 14 cents and it's 1.5 times, you would think that uvxy would only be up 1.5 times these futures, and it's up more, and that's due to that tracking error I was talking about. But these marks, they'll come and go. Tonight it might get marked the other way. The value is still maintained, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. As we have the show here, we are selling off a little bit, and we have seen the VIX go positive 16 cents. It was negative like 28 cents or something, so it is responding to the little sell-off here. So I like to watch these futures during the day and see how they trade. Another way of looking at them is on that VIX Central, which we had back over here. VIX Central, that was the website I was showing you before right here. And now remember, VIX Central is delayed by 15 minutes to a half an hour to even 45 minutes at times. But the chart is pretty flat. If we were to press wide, that makes it look even more flat. Futures curve is very flat. But it would be significant for us if it were to the futures were to spot were to dip below the futures, because that is sort of a turning point for us, but not really significant in the grand scheme of things. Contango and backwardation are not affecting any of these products in any real way with the term structure so flat right now. So it's really undecided. There's no real indication of which way it's going to go just from that. I want to talk for a second because having Aaron on the interview a couple days ago brought up this idea of the markets collapsing soon, and I found another website that basically every video is about the markets collapsing, and I want to show it to you here. It's called Economist, and he basically every video is about the markets are going to collapse, and he has built a brand for himself. It's very slick. The videos are very slick, and he's really built a brand for himself of just making the same video over and over again, essentially, and talking about how bad the government is and how bad everybody is and how everything's falling apart. And people love this stuff. They love it. They love to see it. He has way more followers than I do, and God bless you. People go on to YouTube for different reasons, and one of the reasons people go on is to go down these rabbit holes and look at how the world is falling apart. Now, for me, when you say the crash is coming and it doesn't come, and then like 10 years later you're still saying the crash is coming and it doesn't come, okay, well, that's sort of like an entertainment thing. That's not actually giving you meaningful data to either trade with or to actually, it's not really reality. And that's okay, because some people don't go on YouTube for reality. But as traders, one of the points that I had Aaron on to make was that saying that we're going to crash in eminently, that's pretty much silly, just like when people come on and say they know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow in the markets. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen the next day in the markets, and when you say you do, it makes you look silly. There's grains of truth in all these things, certainly, but is the market going to crash tomorrow? Well, probably not. And yeah, this guy, he's got hundreds of videos. At some point, maybe there will be a collapse, and he can be the first one to tell you he told you so. But it's the same video over and over again, and but people love it. So go figure, I suppose. I've promised though that I will not continue to talk about contango, because that's my little world of repeating the same thing over and over again that doesn't appear to ever come true. But as we sell off today, when I look at the market, I see signs of stuff slowing down and vol coming in. When I saw us down, when I see down 12 in the E minis and VIX only up 16 cents, I see that as a sign of vol coming in. Yesterday, when we had E minis up 30 and the VIX only down, E minis up 30 and VIX only down 30 cents, that didn't look good to me. But this here, indices down, Dow down 200, VIX only up 20 cents, that looks good to me. But it appears that the VIX is just kind of stuck where it is, and it's not moving around that much one way or the other, and we seem to be stuck in this flat spot. So, if we get follow through and the markets rally today, that would be a few days in a row of rally, and we've broken the trend. We had like 15 out of 16 sessions of sell-off. We've broken that trend. We have like either equal high and up and down days, or actually more up days, and so seems like things are settling down now. As soon as I say that, we will get the tweet at some point today, or we will get something in the investigation, and things will change again. So don't want to be I don't want to be the jinxer, because every time I say things are great, it seems to turn around again. Anyway, I appreciate everybody watching me, and great luck to you trading today. I'm looking forward to having doing something with Clinton soon. That should be fun. And I'm going to be appearing on some other people's projects coming up very shortly. So thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And let me give you a little outro music here, and I am off.
The city winks asleep as I hear his voice shake my window. Sweet seducing sighs get me out into the nighttime. Four walls won't hold me tonight.